Yo, in today's video, we'll be looking at creepy and strange TikToks that will make you question reality.
Nothing beats a Jet2
Yo,
holiday. And right now, you can save
look how he's trying to
£50
punch
per
him.
person. That's
That was funny. Oh, no, come on, bruh.
The amount
Ugh.
of people who knew when they heard Selma and Angelina Jolie were going back to Veracruz that was the witch's capital amazed me. I had no clue at all. The amount of people who said hide your kids, the locals who put videos out and said hide your kids. Wow. Single-handedly, this is by far one of the moments in history that the most people woke up to the red juice. So many people in comments about Salma Hayek and Angelina going to Mexico to Veracruz. What's the red juice? Getting educated on the red juice. That's a good thing. Thank you, Salma Hayek, for that. And then lastly, the amount of people who are saying, let's wait 6 to 8 weeks and see what they look like. And see if all of a sudden they come out and they have new faces and they look like they're 20 years old again. That was crazy too. A lot of you guys are awake, and I'm here for it. And I'm glad you guys enjoyed the post. But yeah, there was some eye-opening information in the comment section of that video and videos like it. But it shows that people are well aware of what Hollywood's up to and what these women are up to. And that was eye-opening for me. Thanks.
Number one, like I said, to understand your stories, you got to get there, rent that movie, The Never Ending Story. And when you see, they put it out in children's movies because they know adults ain't gonna never see it. And the little boy, what the little boy is going through, come to find out that the whole adventure that he was going through was in actuality him. It's just the person on the inside of him projecting out. And so the actual story is going on in his small universe, which is in the brain. Which everything that is projecting out here is going on, is predetermined inside of you. And you go through it every day. That's what your dreams are. You see what I'm saying? Also, get the movie Clash of the Titans. Go back and see. It comes on TBS all the time. Clash of the Titans. The guy Perseus, which is a modified word of Perseverant, which is a later word, Parseverant, who is the one who gets the Holy Grail. Get the movie Excalibur. And put yourself in the adventure. So you are Perseus. And they show the gods. They show two realms going on. The gods are putting little toys and say, we're going to do this to person. We're going to put this in his way. We're going to put this in his way. And then they had the mortal realm, which is the earth. And this shit ain't nothing but a big ritual we going through. And that's the way the shit is. The stuff is more of a ritual that you're going to and more of a damn computer game. More of a computer game or a role-playing game more than it is reality. Because you can't make heads or tail out of reality. Long as you looking with these two ways out. You see what I'm saying? So get the movie Clash of the Titans. Key movie. Clash of the Titans. Excalibur. Key movie. Never Ending Story. Key movie. Key movie. These are movies that you need to get and try to understand your role as you're going. But Clash of the Titans is surely they just show you bit for bit on what's going on in you. But you just got to put yourself in the role of the Christ. You see what I'm saying? In the role of the actual Christ. And that's the key to the movie and all.
This is the bloodline that is being talked about in Revelations. And this is part of the Genesis plan. This is the Genesis plan right here. It was to make a species to govern over man. That's what happened. Let's look into Revelations, because there's something interesting inside of that right there with the species that they made. So in Revelation 17, it says, the 10 horns you saw are 10 kings. The 10 horns you saw are 10 kings. If you look at this coin right here at the top, that is a man with horns, and he has a crown on his head. And above the crown, it looks it looks like a pine cone, like above his head. But this is a horn. It says 10 horns. The 10 horns you saw are 10 kings. So the 10 horns is 10 men who have this like animal feature about themselves. We're not looking at this like this. We're not comprehending that something like this once walked the earth. And this is part of the Genesis plan.
Mm.
They created something to rule over the Most High's creation. So the 10 horns you saw, the 10 horns you saw are 10 kings. That is what you're looking at, literally on this coin right here. It's showing you a horned man with a crown on his head, and he has what looks to be like a pine cone. And then you see to the other side on the coin, and this is showing you right here that the DNA that exists in this creature exists in that man. This is very similar to the blood drop. So let's go back to that blood drop, a little bit bigger. If you see it, there's a regular man on top, and then there's the beast on the bottom. Let's go back. There's the regular man on the left, and there's the beast on the right. So we're talking about a bloodline
Mm.
of people who look like animal and people who have basically almost evolved, and they no longer look like animal. They just inherit the bloodline. But for the scriptures, the 10 horns you saw are 10 kings, where you're looking at one of the horns right here. It is a real being, and he has a crown on his head. Look a little further. Here's an example of the 10 horns. The 10 horns right there. So the top coin right here to the left, you can probably see it a little bit bigger. He has horns on his head. He has a crown on his head. That's a king. If you look below, there's another man. He has a horn on his head, and there's that star. That star could be Moorish, it could be satanic, it could be the Star of David. See, I connect all this to a bloodline. This is all part of the Genesis plan. If you look to the far right, to the coin that has the gold right there, and it says right there, it says IOVIS. And on the coin, it says IOVI right there. So it has two of the same names right there. And it makes you wonder, is this a real history?
Hmm.
Is that a real history right there? IOVIS. That's what has it on this man, Ammon's. And this made me think of Zeus Ammon. Also, it made me think of inside of the scriptures, there was a city or a place called Ammon right there. So there is some definite relative like to this right here. Something is very relative, but this is a horned one. We go back. It says the 10 horns you saw are 10 kings. These are horned ones right here, and they have them on coins. And it's quite possible that these things actually live, which kind of makes Revelations true. Like it's at like this part has already surpassed. This part of Revelations has already came about. The 10 horns is already ruled. They have them on coins right now. And as you see, the guy's name, IOVOS, I can't even say that. If it was a J, it'd be like Jovis. But literally, he's on a coin. And that lets me know that the 10 horns is already ruled. This is part of the Genesis plan to take a species that was created out of the original man and have it to rule over the Most High's creation. This goes a lot further. So in Daniel, this extends a lot further. It says, and the 10 horns are 10 kings who will rise from this kingdom. Then it says, after them, another king, different from the earlier ones, will rise and subdue 3 kings. It says, let me read that again. After them, so after the wild man with horns, after these guys, after their rule, after the 10, it says, After them, another king different from the earlier ones will rise. So there is another wild man out there. And I'm going to show you who that one is, the one that is different than the earlier ones. If you notice, it says, will rise and subdue 3 kings. It did not say will rise and subdue the horned ones.
Mm.
You have to understand that this right here is the same entity as the horned ones. It's only a little different. Now we need to know what makes it different than the horned ones, but they're all together. These are the Genesis creations that was placed to rule over us. To understand this Genesis plan right here, this is a great illustration right here. So at the bottom, you see a moon, and at the top, you see a sun. So the moon represents a female, and the sun represents a male. And you can see the scars on the side, so you know that this is talking about people. This is a family tree.
Mm.
We need to see what does this family tree connect to, because this is what's going to explain after them another king different from the earlier ones. This is going to show this bloodline right here. I know this picture is wild. Both of them are wild, but they do explain the one that is different than the rest. You're looking at it. This is the one that is different than the rest. It is a male and female, and it doesn't have the horns on its head. It is a more completed person. So it looks more like the Most High's creation. They had success with blending their creation to such extent that it looks no longer like the horn gods or the horn kings. It now looks like a man and a woman.
Yo.
To answer any questions you may have right now. Yeah, Eric. Yes, sir.
I know that he was charged with resisting arrest without violence.
Yep.
But there was, when I go back and look at the other video from the cell phone video,
Yeah.
I can understand the officer punching the window out. But what I don't understand is, and I know you said that this was not ruled criminal, sucker punching the guy in the jaw.
First of all, let me stop you. Not a sucker punch. I'm not excusing that administratively. I'm going to say that to you one more time. I'm not excusing that administratively. There are things that we definitely need to look at. But the context of this video should tell you everything you need to know.
Well, again, I take it. It looks like it's a sucker punch because he's looking straight and you see this.
Right.
Okay, and then you see them pull him out, and then you see a couple of punches to the face. Now, again, I understand breaking the window, but he charged him with resisting arrest without violence. So I saw a lot of violence. I think the public saw a lot of violence against somebody that was not violent.
Well, first of all, Eric, don't try to talk the public into what they saw. They just saw the same videos you saw. So what we're doing, what I'm saying is that it is what it is. This is the information that I want to share with the public in context without a short clip. It's very important to do that because it provides a lot of information to the public.
And you brought up
It's important, let me finish. It's important for the people to know that you're not allowed to resist a police officer when he's doing his lawful duties. It's been dealt with in several different times. You don't resist when you're doing your lawful duties. You don't deserve to get violated, but you deserve to get what's necessary to get you under control and get you and take you into custody.
Sheriff,
So I'll leave there. Go ahead.
One of the
Jake.
discrepancies people were seeing between the police report and what we saw in the video, and even what we saw in that video, was the allegation that McNeil had reached down for the knife. That was in the police report. But
Where'd you see, what police report did you see that in?
in the arrest report for McNeil, that was stated that the officer saw him, reach for the knife that was on the floorboard. The video that was posted to social media, and even in there, I couldn't see any clear indication of that. I mean, do you see that when you're watching this?
No,
this
actually,
video?
I don't see where his hands are. I can't assume, Jake. No one can assume. I operate and we operate off facts and facts alone. I can't make assumption. All I can go by when I read those things is what's stated in the report. I'm not saying whether it's true or whether it's not. I'm saying no one sees his hands at that point. He says, put your hands up, then his hands come up. But it was after the strike to the face. Like I said, again, I'm not trying this case in front of the public. I'm trying to give the public the information in context of what happened. No one saw his hands at that point. Don't know what happened from there, but that's part of the investigative process. Yes.
Man, they always send your people to try to explain it, don't they? Yo, regardless, it was a sucker punch. You got it. Like, how can it not be a sucker punch? A man looking straight this way, you pow, clear him this way. How is that not a sucker punch? Oh well.
The biometric entry-exit visa tracking system, which we need desperately. For years, Congress has required biometric entry-exit visa tracking systems, but it has never been completed. The politicians are all talk, no action, never happens, never happens. Hillary Clinton, all talk. Unfortunately, when there is action, it's always the wrong decision. Do you ever notice? In my administration, we will ensure that this system is in place. And I will tell you, it will be on land, it will be on sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system.
Whitney Webb says, hope Trump supporters, this is again January 17th of this year, hope Trump supporters will soon catch on to how the virtual border wall being built by companies backed by Peter Thiel on Bilderberg's steering committee is meant to serve as a Trojan horse for digital ID by requiring not just foreigners entering the U.S., but any American traveling abroad to submit to a digital biometric entry-exit system. So, I think what happened here is that a lot of people saw that there was chaos at the border under Biden, and so they voted for mass deportations, thinking, well, this sounds kind of simple, and the case seems kind of open and shut, right? If someone is here illegally, that means they're not supposed to be here. How can you possibly argue against taking them from where they're not supposed to be and putting them in their home country where they are supposed to be, right? How could you argue against that? It's an open and shut case. It's simple, right? Except in reality, it's very often not that simple. What if you don't know exactly who the person is or where to send them? Then you got to find a place to send them, right? In the meantime, what do you got to do? You have to hold them, right? Because they're not supposed to be here and you can't find where to put them, then you got to build a jail for them, right? So right there, you're talking about mass deportations. You can't have mass deportations at that point without mass incarceration, because in order to figure out where these people are going, you need a place to keep them, and in the interim, they're going to be in jail. You can't have mass incarceration without a police state, because you need people to go out and grab the people to put them in the jails before you figure out where to put them. So there's just no way to build a deportation machine without building an incarceration machine, and there's no way to build an incarceration machine without building a police state. So you can't have mass deportations without a police state. And it seems, the more we look at it and the more we look into it, that really the mass deportations was the pitch that they made that seemed very simple. People signed up for it, and they took that as permission to go ahead and build their police state, which now, again, going back to the beginning of the show and my theory that maybe the DOJ decided, you know what, now that we got this big, beautiful bill passed, we can release a memo about the Epstein files, and that'll cause Trump to have a meltdown, and maybe we don't need him anymore, because this is done now. It's done. They did it. They got their bill. ICE got their funding. They're building this. Palantir's got the contracts. The wheels are in motion. They don't need Donald Trump anymore. At this point, it's probably in their interest to force him out of office, get J.D. Vance a couple years under his belt so he runs with the incumbency advantage in 2028, as opposed to having to run with the baggage of this first Trump term. That's a theory, but
that's a crazy
that's as
theory.
good as I can come up with. What's not so much speculation on my part, which I think is a little more well-founded than that, is that, this deportation thing was the propaganda that they fed you in order to justify building this massive techno-police state, which now is under construction and getting done pretty quickly.
Yo, if that plays out the way he just described it, that man's a prophet. But I can see it happening, man. Are you guys ready for this police state? I don't think you guys are, because I know that I am not. And hopefully we don't get to that point, but I don't see what's stopping it. Like he said, the bill's already passed, the contract's already in, things are already moving. What are we going to do about it? But yeah, these are some of the most creepy and strange TikToks that are out there. If you like the content, don't forget to subscribe, turn your notification bells on, and until next time, YouTube, peace.